live in a world obsessed with success. Every scroll, every post, every ad whispers the same message. You should already be more confident, more successful, more complete. But beneath that constant noise, there's something else. A quiet fear that keeps us small. The fear of failure. We avoid it, hide from it, even deny it. But what if failure isn't something to run from? What if it's the very thing we need to grow? Think back to childhood. You probably remember the first time you failed. Maybe it was a test, a game, or a dream you really wanted. You felt embarrassed, maybe even ashamed. And the people around you, even with good intentions, might have said, "It's okay, but don't let it happen again." That moment planted a seed. From then on, we start building our lives not to succeed, but to avoid failing. But here's the paradox. The more we fear failure, the smaller our world becomes. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And most of that waste comes from hesitation, from the fear of falling. Modern life has turned success into a religion. We worship those who win. Influencers, CEOs, athletes. Yet we rarely see what came before the victory. Countless failures, sleepless nights, moments of doubt, all edited out. And so we compare our real lives to someone else's highlight reel. That comparison is poison. The philosopher Alain de Botton once said that envy has replaced sadness as the defining emotion of our age. When we measure our worth by how others see us, failure starts to feel like death. But that's an illusion, one created by an algorithm, not by truth. So what happens when we stop running from failure? Something shifts. You begin to see failure not as an enemy, but as a mirror. A mirror that shows you who you really are, without the masks, without the noise. Every time you fall, a part of your ego dies. But in its place, humility grows, and from humility comes wisdom. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches us this beautifully. When pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They repair it with gold, making the cracks shine even brighter. The object becomes more valuable because it was broken. Imagine if we saw ourselves that way, not as damaged, but as redefined by the gold of experience. Psychologists say that fear of failure is rooted in something called conditional self-worth. It means you believe you're only valuable when you're successful. But your worth was never supposed to depend on performance. Think about it. A newborn child has no achievements, no trophies, no followers. Yet it's loved unconditionally. Somewhere along the way, we forget that truth. We start believing love must be earned, that purpose must be proven. That's why failure hurts so deeply, because it challenges the illusion that we're only enough when we win. But the soul doesn't care about winning. It only cares about becoming. After the fall, silence comes. Not punishment, but space. In that silence, we hear our true voice for the first time. The world hasn't stopped. It's just giving you a moment to rebuild. You start small. One step, one attempt, one choice to try again. That's where transformation begins, quietly, almost invisibly. So, how can we face failure differently? First, we can change how we define it. Failure is not falling short of perfection, it's refusing to grow. Second, we can fail intentionally. Try things that might not work. A new project, a new passion, a new version of yourself. Third, we can reflect instead of regret. Every failure has a story to tell if you listen without judgment. And finally, remember this: success without struggle creates emptiness. There is no meaning in a victory that costs you nothing. As Alan Watts said, the more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. Failure keeps life alive. So the next time you fail, don't rush to erase it. Sit with it. Let it burn. Feel the loss, the embarrassment, the frustration. Because that's the fire where transformation begins. Every person you admire has walked through that same fire. What makes them different is not that they avoided it, but that they stayed long enough to rise from it. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path that leads to it. Fall often. Rise stronger.